And here we go. We are live. I think I can cut this cam. Seems to me that the audio is working properly, but you have to tell me. Okay, there you are. I'm so happy to be starting this new live streaming session because I have a new setup, as you can see, with the palette, a new audio setup with a mic here. I'm not gonna have this headset all the time, but I have a mic that's going to improve the quality of my sound. So you have to tell me if it's okay, so I can, move around and do my thing in my studio. And because I'm never static, I'm always like kind of moving all over the place, and I'm gonna have this following me, tracking the audio, so it should be perfect. But the problem there might be some annoying noises, so you have to tell me if it picks up noise like that. And tell me about the music. Is it too loud, too not loud enough? And tell me how you're doing, because we are going to be spending a lot of time together, which is cool. I'm super happy to have this new setup, new schedule. Starting today, we are going to have a new streaming schedule. So as I said in my community post, I don't know if you've read it or not, I'm gonna phase out kind of the classic tutorials that my channel has been known for, like the 10 minutes, 30 minutes tutorials. Not do as many as I used to, so not once a week anymore. So that's done. It was too time consuming and like really difficult to articulate my regular painting schedule and the video, so complicated. But I figured, well, let's just paint even more than before, but just chill, just relax, just take a moment. I'm gonna hit record. I'm actually not hit record, I'm gonna hit go live and just open the studio and have a nice chill painting session. The goal of these is we are together, we discuss. You are here in chat, I can read chat, and I can even highlight what you say to me, and you say the sound is perfect. I love it. Thank you, Sky. And yeah, that's cool. I'm so happy. I'm so pleased to have this new setup. It's really a gadget, but I can highlight your comments in chat. So feel free to say the most sophisticated and highly clever things, because I'm gonna highlight the best things that you say to me. Like, feel free to write anything. I'm not gonna highlight all the things, but like when I have a question that I want to answer, or when I read out loud one of your comments, I'm gonna highlight it like this. This way it's going to be much easier. And we have Femox saying, good evening, everyone. Oh, I love this trick. Hi, Femox. Good to see you. All right. Okay, so next, so about the schedule, still to be determined, but it's it's going to be a lot more improvised. This channel is going to have a sort of a shift mentally, creatively. My process is completely going to shift. I'm done with the headaches to find new ideas for videos. Right now I'm going to cheat. I'm going to ask you every time during the live stream sessions, and afterwards I'm going to just make the videos based on your suggestions, based on like content that I'm going to do live, and combine that and make a tutorial. But I'm not going to make tutorials once a week. I'm going to make them, like, let's say every month probably. So start thinking about ideas, about things that you would like to see for the tutorial of September, because that's the month that's coming up, and I'm going to use your feedback, your suggestions, questions that you'll have in the chat, and I'm going to use this, combine this, and make a huge, big, and very valuable, high-quality tutorial every month, and as an extra to the streams. So it's, and actually, believe it or not, it's not more work to me, because basically I'm always painting. It's just there I'm painting and talking with you. But like it's like family. It's like a group of friends, so I don't mind. I'm always painting anyway, so what's the difference? Just hitting live, go live. It's a little bit more pressure, a bit more preparation, but as you'll see, I have not prepared for this session because I was too lazy. No, because it's like, if you look at this is all dry because I've been painting all day, and this is kind of the late time of the day. It's 9 p.m. Well, yeah, kind of past 9 p.m. here in France, so the paint has been sitting on my palette most of the day, and right now it's not usable anymore, so I have to remix before I start. What next? Okay, so just before we start, and I guarantee there's going to be interesting things to see and do and say in this chat, and I'm gonna entertain you with some painting. No worries there. It's just that I wanted to talk about the schedule. Yeah. So as I see it, but then this can change. As I see it, every Tuesday. Did I say Thursday in my post? I think I might have written Thursday, which is a mistake. I'm gonna have to check this. I think my community post I switched Thursday and Tuesday. Whatever. This is going to be Tuesdays. Every Tuesday is going to be just a normal live streaming session. So basically, I'm painting whatever I'm painting at the moment. Doesn't matter if it's like a toenail of some character. It doesn't matter if it's Michelangelo's David, I don't know, something, whatever, like maybe an umbrella, a car, a rabbit, whatever I'm currently painting for some reason. I'm gonna be showing you how I do it, and just yeah, I'm gonna be taking you for a ride with me in the studio. That's the idea. And every Friday, the Friday is going to be more, on the educational side. So probably master copies. And last time I had this suggestion from a viewer in chat. I don't remember who it was, sorry, but somebody who watched the previous live stream asked to do something about history of art, learning how to paint like the old masters and stuff. So great idea, let's start with this. So every Friday is going to be a new old master basically, and I'm gonna try making a copy, or if I can't do a copy, make a study of some sort. Just do an active thing, not just look at paintings like I used to do with learning from the masters, but make a sort of an active session talking with you. And then I can also compile that, take all this learning from the master content and put this into an episode of some sort, into a tutorial, like a more complex and more polished tutorials with editing and stuff. So that's the plan. Tuesday, Friday, 9 p.m. ish. This can change, all right? I'm gonna have a lot of, polls in chat asking you what you prefer and stuff. So it's going to be fun. All right, so enough talking from me. I'm gonna start reading a bit about what you're doing. So right now I'm gonna do the second layer on this lady here. So just to give you a bit of context on this painting, these characters in the back here, they're really background characters, kind of all on the side, are inspired by the Danaides. I don't know if you know Danaides. Maybe I'll write it if it's the same. Sorry, I had a little audio problem here. Okay, sorry about that. Danaides. So that's the characters by whom they are inspired. So they are modern days Danaides, especially the Danaides by Waterhouse. And yeah, that's the idea. So right now I'm gonna do the second layer on this one and see how it goes. So first need to go mixing a bit. And yeah, I'm gonna take the time to read a bit of a couple of comments, and we can start. Okay, good question. Well, let's start with this one. Okay, my text is just dealing with some technical issues, so I'm gonna resize this text. Okay, so when the text is very long, it doesn't fit. I have to keep a mental note. Okay, so I'm resizing this text. Sarah, what do you do when you can't get something to look quite right? Do you leave it and work on another area? Or do you continue to rework the area until you get it right? Well, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing right now. So this is the perfect illustration. Every time I don't get something to look quite right, I either, well, it's really hard to sleep at night when, well, for me at least, when it doesn't look right. So usually what I would do is just scrape it off before the night and just come back the next day with something completely fresh and blank. So I start over the area. Or what I'll do is, well, on this one I had to do this for this one because I didn't get it right the first time, so I had to repaint it basically, which is why it looks very unfinished here, because I didn't have the time to do it properly everywhere. So I'm gonna now, what I do next is I let it dry and then come back the next day and just finish it. Just take the time and just yeah, just relax about it and go look for new options, consider new options, try to find new references, rethink the idea, and just start again, basically. Okay, so hello to everyone watching. Apparently the connection is good, so I'm gonna start actually working because I still don't have any paint. I still don't have any paint to put on this canvas. All right, so but it feels so good to be back with the streaming schedule, because believe it or not, like streaming for me, even though it's kind of tricky to get the right setup with good audio, stuff like this, good image quality and all, but it's not as much work as well, I wouldn't say that. It's not as much work as normal editing videos, even though it is, but it feels much less I feel much less pressure, so it feels just much better. And right now I have new equipment for a better streaming experience, basically. Some things that I couldn't do before, or that I could do but my computer was very laggy, the image quality was not as great and all, so I had to sacrifice a lot on the quality back then. And when I looked at my previous streams, and most of them were like 5 years ago, and man, time flies. It feels like yesterday, but I used, believe it or not, if maybe you don't know that about me, but I used to do a lot of streaming as for a moment back on in the channel history, basically in the history of my YouTube channel. I used to mainly be a streamer. Good times. And then I had to stop when I sort of needed to focus on my art. It became very difficult to make my main work and combine that with the stream schedule back then, because back then my main work was taking a lot of focus from me. Right now it's more chill, a lot more chill. I'm feeling much more natural, painting big canvases and talking, basically. So okay, the stream looks good. I'm very happy. Hello from the UK. Hey folks. Just checking the stream, and yeah, I'm back. Bonsoir, Capitaine Nemo. Hi Charles from New York. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so let's just to tell you here, just my palette, titanium white, yellow ochre, transparent red oxide, transparent iron oxide, Pyrrole red, quinacridone rose, burnt umber, but there's none of it left, but I don't think I need this anymore, so I'm not wasting it. Ultramarine blue and cobalt teal, and then I just added drops of medium, and I'm always, as I often do, not always, but as I often do, I'm preparing a small pre-mixed palette here. And I said that I'm gonna not use more burnt umber, but I used too many drops, so it was too fluid, so I'm adding just a touch more right now so that it's less liquid. You don't want the paint to be too liquid, you want it to be just nice and creamy in a way. Sometimes you want stiffness, it really depends too. But definitely one key of oil painting is understanding the consistency of the paint, how to control it so that it's always the right texture and that it gives you enough control on your palette. Not too runny, exactly. See, here it's too runny actually. So what you can do when it's also too liquid, too runny, is you can sort of press it against a piece of paper towel. Basically, you're gonna waste some of it, but the paper towel is going to absorb the extra liquid. So that's what you want to do. Newspaper also works. So right now this is my pre-mixed value scale, and I'm gonna use it as a basis, as a sort of mixing base for the rest. But I'm going to incorporate other colors along the way and bring variety with other colors, basically. So I'm actually going to add a bit of blue and yellow. Thank you for doing this. If you could maximize the display showing the palette. Yes, I can actually, but it's just that so far, see, it looks like this. So I was kind of annoyed. I didn't find a setting that would allow me to put this properly, because my camera is basically on the side. I was kind of undecided about how I wanted the palette cam to be, and I decided to put it on the side like that for the moment, because I find this less distracting when the painting is up, when the canvas is showing. But when it's the palette alone, it looks kind of weird though. But yeah, so here it is. Do you ever use the palette knife to apply paint on to the canvas? Yeah, absolutely. For example, right here is an example of using the palette knife to apply the paint directly like that. I'm kind of a tight painter though, so this is something that I use. This is something that I use, but not all the time. So it's not really my style to do an entire painting with that. And as you'll see, I'm gonna actually be very, very tight, very careful with my brush strokes for this area that I'm gonna rework here. So, yeah. Does the dry cutter exactly look like the wet cutter? With oil paint, pretty much, yeah. Because there is no such thing as a, well, because the cutter dries with some type of gloss from the oil. So the binder has an oil which is naturally glossy. So there is not such a big difference between the dry pigment and the wet pigment as there is with, let's say, any type of water-based technique. Okay, so let's start. Just reorganizing my screen. Got so many windows. Okay. This is not kind of, sorry, I'm trying to put the chat so that I can read easier when I'm starting to paint, because it's kind of small here in the display. So here it is. I love how you play with light. Thank you. This is the entire idea of my art, is take some, you know, very old techniques, but bring, you know, some of these modern colored lights that we have in our world. Like, we don't have the same exact light as they had before, like when they only had candle lights. So we can take the same techniques as the old masters, the same exact way that they painted, even though we do have some extra pigments that they didn't have, but you know, we can basically use the same approach, but we can get something that looks very, very different, and that's pretty cool. I like this idea. So tell me if you're picking up some mic noise when I'm moving or not, because it's not that I'm not fearing that the mic is not set up properly, but it's just that when I'm moving, it might get stuck in my shirt, or the wire might get, you know, get stuck in some way and might create an annoying sound. So tell me if you hear something. Bonsoir Sabrina. Can't hear any mic noises, can hear it clearly. Thanks. That's great. I spent a lot of time setting it up, but I'm really happy. I had to decide if I wanted to have something wireless or something, you know, like a Bluetooth mic or something like that, or just keep the wires but organize them better. And I chose the wires. I don't know, maybe you're gonna call that sacrilegious to prefer the wires, but actually the wires it's much better for me. It's just plug and play, whereas the Bluetooth mic, you have to make sure there's battery, you have to connect it. It just takes, and when it disconnects, it's just a nightmare to reconnect during a live stream, whereas this is just a plug and play mic. So I do have a wire, which is annoying because it's always in the way in a way, but I sort of came up with a setup so that the wires are just attached here, so I'm free to move, but the wires will not get in the way. It's not ideal, but it's still better than trying to connect through a Bluetooth all the time. I would love to stay and watch, but I cannot right now. But I at least wanted to tell you I appreciate all your content. Thank you, The Dark Artist. I'll see you next time, and you can still watch the replay. There is the cool factor with Bluetooth. Yeah, but it's annoying when like right now, basically on my computer, you have so many things plugged in at the same time, like 2 cameras, the mic, my mouse, everything is connected to my headset and all. And it's easier to control, basically. I prefer the wires, I don't know why. It's easier to control. If there's something that goes wrong at some point, I don't have the time to check which connector doesn't have any battery anymore, or it's much easier when it's just plug and play. And plus, most of my Bluetooth headsets and stuff, they sort of stop working after a while. Is there a color you wish that was never invented? No. No, I don't think so. Is there a color that I wish was invented? I don't know. Had to think about it. Well, is there a color that you wish was never invented? Alex? I don't know. You tell me. If anything, I wish more colors were invented. Don't blow a fuse. I won't. Promise. Okay, I've got to spend time on the hair because this is mostly the part that I need to improve right now. It's the part that I left unfinished. So let's do that. Okay, Sarah is asking, is there a painting style that you really dislike aesthetically? And I want to ask this question to everyone in chat, but I'm gonna respond, but I'm gonna ask the question to everyone because I'm really interested in knowing the type of art that you really don't like. Yeah, a lot of art is stuff that I don't like, and I'm not even gonna talk about, you know, the contemporary, like the kind of bullshit art that you see sometimes, because, well, I don't even consider it to be the same, like the same type of game, basically. When I see an artist like a figurative artist and a contemporary artist, like, I don't know, making conceptual art or anything, I don't even consider it to be the same job. So I'm not gonna count it as this, but yeah, there would be, and plus it's undefinable, undescribable, so it's hard to say, well, I hate contemporary art, because some contemporary art I actually love, and some contemporary I just can't stand. It's all a little bit of everything, so it's hard to describe. But yeah, in terms of figurative styles and stuff, one thing that I really don't like, and I'm going to talk about figurative art, like really my kind of my soup, my colleagues, I'm going to talk trash here, not giving names, but basically no name is attached to this. It's not a style, it's, you know, giant celebrity faces. You know, giant paintings of faces. What's the reason for that? Like, you have a giant face and somehow this is supposed to be cool and interesting because it's a giant face, like sometimes hyper realistic face, but, you know, huge, on a huge scale, and it's generally like Richard Nixon or Marilyn Monroe or something like this, or I don't know, it's super weird, and I don't like that, or the Pope or whatever. It's like so weird. Why do you want to do that? And I don't like this. I don't find that giant faces are an interesting topic, and it's everywhere, and it feels very artistic and trendy and all. It's like you find this in all galleries, like pretentious galleries show like huge faces, and oh, it's done with a trowel. Basically, when you're really close, it looks very unfinished and all, but when you step back, it's a giant face of, you know, whoever, like Mao Zedong. Who cares, right? I don't like giant faces for no reason, like a giant face. I don't like this. But yeah, I don't know. You know, for your big LA mansion, you have a giant face of Elvis Presley, or I don't know. Anywho, like, I don't mind the portrait. I don't mind the model. What I just don't like giant faces. Find this kind of useless. And it's not the style, it's not the aesthetics that I don't like, it's the type of subject. If you want a portrait, why don't you make a normal portrait? And if you want something giant, why don't you make something interesting on there? Okay, so I hate AR art because it has no meaning to me. There's no artist behind it. Well, there are artists that were copied. I watched your video on the gesso paintings that sell for huge prices. Yeah, the big white monochrome, right? Yeah. Okay, greetings Florent. Hey Black Dahlia. Greetings Florent. I always appreciate your sharing your process. Keep up the amazing work. One love from Toronto, Canada. One love from France. It's for nearsighted people like me, probably. I don't know. I don't think. Okay, Felicia said, don't shoot me guys, I don't care for still lifes. Can't stand Bob Ross style. Still lifes put me to sleep. Actually, I've seen some artists who can make still lifes interesting, but they are pretty rare actually. Sarah saying, I struggle with landscapes. They don't captivate me. I would say likewise for me personally. It's like sometimes I find that when I do paint a landscape, I need to have some human presence in there, or I don't know, I just don't find it motivating enough. I find landscapes kind of empty. But yeah, Black Dahlia says, still lifes put me to sleep. I have to make mine extra interesting. Yeah, you can make still lifes pretty interesting by adding like very cool elements. Now I've tried this, or I've done this, basically surrealistic, kind of surrealistic still lifes. That's pretty interesting to sort of transcend reality. Like, you know, still life is supposed to be very boring, like boring apples and oranges, but like it doesn't have to be. It can be something super intriguing, like an object that you're not. Like, obviously, if you're thinking about the still life of like fruits and vegetables, yeah, I agree, like it puts me to sleep as well. But if you think about a still life of, you know, I don't know, an interesting concept that goes beyond what should be conceivable as sort of an object, an existing object, you make some still life of an object that's not supposed to really exist. I like this idea. Or make a still life that has a story of its own, like a sort of a weird photograph next to a keychain, I don't know, and it's telling the story of whatever character was in possession of this object. I like this idea. This type of still life really turns me on. But like, you know, just painting an apple, however, like even like the Cézanne apple, like really something that I can't stand. I also can't really stand, aesthetically speaking, like in terms of art movements and all, like I can't stand Picasso. This is like the one famous artist that I just don't get it. Well, I do get it, like in terms of, yeah, the importance in the history of art and all, and how he was like a huge megalomaniac, and he was famous because he made himself famous through his ego and stuff. So I also get why he was kind of important in a way, but like Picasso is really my least favorite artist. I wouldn't, sorry if I'm hurting feelings, but really Picasso is my least favorite character. Also a really despicable human being with his family and friends. If you know a bit about his life, like I'm all for separating the art from the artist, but I don't like the art and I don't like the artist, so it's a double for me. I dislike the more abstract modern paintings that evolved into nothing but random, sorry, I can't read anymore, random shapes and colors that can be anything. I don't know, I like abstract, but really for just decoration purpose. I'm not decorating my house with abstract art. I don't like, it's even like I don't consider that an abstract artist and me and myself, we do the same job. It's basically a completely different story for me. And for me, abstraction is more in the realm of just decorating a hallway in a motel or something like that, where, you know, like in a corridor in a hospital, it's nice to have like an abstract painting. But I wouldn't want my paintings to end up there. It's just not the same thing. And it's also a challenge for me because basically my paintings are not decorative at all, because they have like too much, like they're too much, like too much story, too much maybe drama, too much suffering sometimes in my story. And I would sell a lot more canvases if they were more decorative, but I'm definitely not up for that. My gallery would love this, but decoration is really something that I'm not attracted to. I can't just tame my subjects for the sake of decoration. Okay. I'm having a hard time looking back at the... Okay. Sam Borenstein and Van Gogh are pretty good and interesting. So the still lifes, I agree, you can make some pretty amazing still lifes. Cubism in general. Cubism is not something Rosa relates to. Visually interesting, but I have a certain mood to appreciate. I'm reading Van Gogh's letters at the moment, and it sounds like he was a very nice person. He was like really a very unique character, definitely. So full of passion in everything he did. So it's great to read it, because you understand so many things about his approach to art, and you can follow his entire process from where he was hesitating between becoming a pastor and other things, and when he decided to start making art. It's really a full, like a journey. So interesting. It's a great read. I love the way you tell stories with your imagery. Thank you, Black Dahlia. Is there an artist that you view as a guilty pleasure, or one that you're embarrassed to say you like? I don't know. No, I'm not embarrassed to say that I like anybody. It's like, if I'm embarrassed to say that I like the artist, probably means that I don't like it. So I'm gonna... I don't know. No, I don't think I do. I have to think about this. An artist that I would be embarrassed to say that I like? No, I don't know. I take mostly responsibility for everything that I like or dislike, artistically speaking, so it's either I'm pretty quick to make a decision from most of the time. It's either I like or I dislike. I'm also very quick to change my mind if I see something that I like. Like, you can show me like 100 paintings of an artist that I don't like, and all of a sudden he's making one genius piece and I'm saying, okay, I changed my mind. I'm convinced. I don't need much to be completely sold on an artist. Just this one painting can completely turn things around for me, because like, you don't have to create all masterpieces, and just I can be a fan of an artist for just this one painting, and I mean a total fan, which is the case for Arnold Bucklin for me. I'm gonna type it. So Arnold Bucklin, he has done the Isle of the Dead, you know, just check it out. And this is the only work that he ever did that I'm really a fan of. But and I really like this. Okay, so next we have do you feel a connection to any work you have done? Also, is that a weird question? It's not a weird question, it's normal. I hope that everyone here in chat feels a connection to a work that they've done. Otherwise, why make it? So yeah, I do. I feel a connection to all the work that I've done, and I think that I sometimes lose the connection, and when I lose this connection, it means the work is not done, or I don't finish it, or I finish it but I'm not happy with it, and yeah. But sometimes this lost connection can be saved by someone, you know, coming to the rescue of the work, saying, hey, I do have a connection with this work. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I don't. I personally, I don't. I don't know, there's something is wrong with this painting and all. And all of a sudden the person is saying, well, but I think that this is, I see this in this painting, it's really good and all. And I'm like, okay, now I can, at least I tolerate it. But yeah, I do feel a connection to every work that I do. And when I don't, it means it's bad news, basically. Okay, so I'm kind of late. Are you switching from gouache to oil or vice versa? No, I'm not switching, I'm mostly oil. Oh, okay, it was for Georgie, sorry. What supplies do I need to switch from gouache to oil painting? Okay, sorry, I thought Black Dahlia was asking me if I was a previous gouache artist, basically. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna let you respond then in chat. That's good when it works like this. What is the art period you like the most? Renaissance. My favorite is probably the one that's most influential, so basically the Caravagist era, so Baroque. Florent has video about it, about switching from gouache to oil. No, just buy some oil and just paint with oil. It's like my content in a nutshell. Do you know Cesar Santos? Obviously, he's a great artist. I really love his work. Amazing artist. I started to paint because of your videos. Thank you. Hey, thank you. I'm glad my work can be useful. Okay. Do you ever paint just for yourself, not to sell? Yeah. Well, I would say obviously, yeah. Even though it's a very tough balance to find, but all my paintings are. I'm not gonna say only for myself, because I want to show them. So I'm not making them to keep them secret, but I'm not making them with the intention of selling them first. And yeah, and it's a problem. It's a problem because that's not a good business model. But if artists were good businessmen, this would be known for now. And famously, art has never been really about good business. It's always a silly and crazy thing to make art. It's not worth the time, the effort that you make, but the art is worth it. Like financially, it's not worth it unless you get to sell for outrageous prices. Usually when you get to sell for outrageous prices, like, first of all, it's not something that you control. You can wish that it happens to you, but most of the time it will happen if you're very, very lucky, like 1 in a million maybe. When you're dead, maybe it will sell for a reasonable price, but until then you have to find ways to survive and keep making art. If the art that you make is not just about decorating a wall. So, yeah. Florent, what is the distinctive style of your painting? By the way, I do really enjoy the informative videos you put out there. The distinctive style, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's called, like in the field of figurative art, it's called imaginative realism. Basically, when you use the process and techniques of figuration, but try to paint scenes that are basically imaginary. So you're using a model but reinventing a style. I don't know, I've tried to define my style, sort of I had some silly attempts at coming up with, you know, an art movement around my art and all, but no, I did find, you know, some words that end in ism, try to describe what I do, but it doesn't matter in the end. It doesn't matter what you call it. Most of the time it's the job of other people to call it and give it a name. Like, it's not your job as an artist to come up with the name of your own art movement, your own style. Like, it's mostly the critic, the viewers, that are going to define and put words on what you do. And if you're reinventing something, they're going to come up with new words. If you're doing something that already exists, they're going to say, oh, this is obviously neo-formalism, or I don't know, whatever, you know. So this is, I never really, yeah, I did try as sort of a silly attempt. Oh, this is messed up. I did try to put a name on my style, but yeah, it's just for fun, just for the lols. I'm gonna show you something. It's bad. It's bad, people. It's horrible. I hate this. Look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is not fixable. This is not mine. Sorry, I'm gonna Come on. Okay. See this pimple here? This is not paint, it's canvas. It's a knot. And it's not fixable. So that's a problem. Oh, so annoying. Look at this. It's like a pimple on my beautiful canvas. I hate it. Now the only way to fix it, because if you pull, you're going to pull on basically the weaves of the fabric and ruin it, and you're going to remove the gesso. Like basically you already have some raw fabric right there, so it's already too late. I'm already screwed. So right now it's just, there's no fixing it. It's just cover it with like a big chunk of paint. So maybe take a palette knife and try to unify this. But yeah, super annoying. See, there's a difference between this and, let me try to find another one. See this one here? See this one? This is paint. So this is fixable. This is just, well, I think it's paint. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but no, it's paint. See? Chook. Easily removed, easily fixed. But the other one, no. So, too bad. That's how it is. I didn't notice it. You can notice it when you're preparing your surface. If you're really picky, there's no fixing it. You just have to find a new canvas. But if you're really picky, you change the canvas before it's too late. It's not a huge problem, it's just annoying. It's not gonna ruin the long-term durability, but this is the kind of thing that, you know, if it ever ends up in a, you know, in a restoration office, or in a restoration studio, I should say, you're gonna have to deal with it at some point. But right now I'm gonna just try to basically make it less visible. Man, this is annoying. I hate this. I hate this. This one is really bad because I pulled on it. I didn't know it was that. I thought this was a blob of paint. Did you sand it or anything when you prep? Yes, I did sand a bit, but it's not a blob of gesso. It's a knot, so it's it was still there. So, but I didn't cut it or do that. This pimple is an insect. No, it's not an insect. It's a knot, not knot, like K-N-O-T, like a knot, like a, I don't know, a node of of the fabric, like an I don't know. Who's gonna notice, really? Yeah, nobody. Hi Jack Stitch. Most artists are perfectionists. Yeah. What do you want? That's yep, that's what we do. Okay, let's just move on. I'm gonna continue painting my hair just as I planned, and I'll see if I can come up with a clever way to hide it in the texture. Can you press it to push it back? I'm gonna sort of flatten it, and then I'm gonna paint it, but thickly, and it's going to be covered. What would be your best advice on achieving a likeness in a portrait? A practice, with a lot of drawing, and just practice the likeness on its own before you attempt to paint. But it's a long process of like a long learning sequence before it feels comfortable that you can get the right likeness, you can achieve the right likeness every time. Or not even every time, like. Also, for likeness, you have to accept the risk of failure, because like every once in a while you don't get a decent likeness, that you desired. You get something less good, so it's always a risk. And even if you, I don't know, maybe you have some professional artists who never get it wrong, but it's not me. So my advice is, if you're human, if you do make mistakes, be aware that it's a difficult thing, so it's not always working, so you have to be patient, be prepared to start over if needed, and be prepared to accept that sometimes the likeness just doesn't appear magically. Sometimes the pose is just not right. Sometimes the angle of the face makes it just too difficult for you. Like, I don't know, I feel like personally, when I don't have strong shadows, when I don't have the right angle for what I like to paint, I never get the likeness properly. So I'm usually trying to get the setup that I need to reach likeness easier, because yeah, it's kind of cheating, because I can't get 100% of any likeness whatsoever. To get the right likeness on a character, well, not on a character, on a model, I need to set up so that I have the type of light that I like to paint, the type of angle that I like to paint, the type of mood and atmosphere that I'm connected to. Otherwise, I'm going to struggle so much, and the likeness will not work. Florent, any tips on juggling making art and taking care of family, kid responsibilities? Sure. I know a lot about that. Well, I'm still learning a lot as well, so if you have any tips as well. My tips is, I don't know, what I'll do is I'm trying to use my, free time, basically nights, like late evenings when my son is in bed, usually much quieter. But other than that, I'm never sacrificing my time with my son, and it's just also having a good balance and a good agreement with your significant other, so that they understand how time-consuming this passion, this vocation, this calling, call it what you want, this job can be of making art. It's not like a 9 to 5 where you have a set time of the day and you go back afterwards, and it's like it's a much more it's time consuming, and it's also life spirit consuming in a way. So it takes a lot from your mental health sometimes. So try to find a good life balance where your significant other knows and understands what you're doing. Also, your kids, I don't know how young or how old your kids are, but try to help them understand what you do, so that they don't think you're just a hermit in his studio, so that they understand what you're doing and why it takes you so much time and stuff. And that after that is also find a good schedule that helps you have a nice balance between family and making art. Responsibilities and family always comes first. Making art is always somewhere in your head, in your background, always thinking about art, always focused. But if you can get everyone on board, basically everyone is happy that you're making this and you're happy, and if your wife finds that you spend too much time in the studio, maybe don't argue about it. Try to find some way that you can make the art that you need to make and make everyone happy. That's express your feelings, express what you want, what you think, tell your emotions with honesty, and that's all I can say. It's not easy, but it can be done though. Especially as an artist, if you're an independent artist, you can work from home, so that can free up a lot of time. Like I do have a lot of time for my son, actually, even though I'm spending a lot of time making art as well. But it's the same house, so I'm always available. I can take a day off when I want. I never really want to take a day off, because taking a day off from art is like taking a day off from living for me. But if I'm with my family, it's fine. And I'm happy. Hello Agia Art Study. What is your preferred canvas size to work with, if you have a preferred one? I do like to work on big canvases, like 1.5 meters to 2 meters. But it depends. It's like, well, this is the most motivating pieces that I do are on big, relatively big canvases. But I also like to work on small, like 30 by 30 centimeters. Depends. Sometimes I do like to get the spontaneity of a small surface that you can just finish in one day, which is pretty cool. But most of my big projects are pretty big in size. I feel self-portraits are difficult for everyone, and that's part of why I enjoy them. You have to completely let go of your ego if you're attempting a self-portrait. Yeah, exactly. You have to unlearn everything you thought you knew about, like your nose and your eyes and your mouth and stuff, and rethink everything in terms of, yeah, it's a shape. Okay, so this has the shape of, I don't know, a dolphin, and this has the shape of something like, I don't know, whatever. Like, this, it's not your eye anymore, it's just a shape, and it forces you to rethink your appearance with objectivity, which is not something that you would do in any other situation. So it's a really unique experience. I don't know why. Sometimes the chat doesn't update for me, and I receive like lots of comments at the same time. I don't know. Have you ever reached a point where you gave up on a painting completely and discarded it? Many times. definitely a studio hermit. This girl is very pretty. Thank you, Cloudface. Did you use a reference photo? Yes, I used like various references, and for this one, basically I was looking for hairstyles, and I just found some type of face that I found interesting. They're mostly loosely inspired by the Danaides by William Waterhouse, but I didn't want to stick exactly to the facial style of Waterhouse, which is very recognizable. It's a really stylistic feature of Waterhouse, but I don't want to stick too much to that. So I wanted to create something original. Basically, I take like several references. Sometimes I take the hairstyle from photo, like mostly like fashion images on Google Image, like fashion magazines, or just blogs about hairstyle, how to do your hair, stuff like that. You always find lots of models, and from there you can recreate. But basically the main reference was my own face. That's my own face actually that I changed and transformed into something. I think I showed it in the previous live, but I don't have the reference anymore because it was in the previous stage of this painting, so I don't like. Right now I'm working without the model. I'm just using the reference of the hairstyle, and when I'm picking things on the face, it's just from my head. For example, I know that all these shadows will have to be retouched. I don't need to see the model to look at this. It's like in my memory, my visual memory, I know I need to fix this. It's just secondary basically, so I don't rush to do it. There's no need to rush. Why do you prefer canvas over other surfaces? Is it because it's the classical choice aesthetically, or does it have a function? It does have the function of weighing less, which is a huge thing, because when you reach like the biggest surfaces, if you're painting on a full wooden panel, it weighs a ton, so the canvas is a much lighter option. Esteban, is the medium used the same in all layers, or do you increase the oil to the solvent as the painting progresses? Yeah, you do that. The second thing. Basically, I have prepared little bottles. I think I've talked about this several times. See, I have like bottle. Let me switch there. Bottle 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, you know, all have like 1 is lean and 5 is fat, and right now I'm at number 3, and every time I'm switching to a new bottle to make it fatter. would you mind explaining the fat over lean rule? I think I did it in several videos. Maybe the video is old, so maybe that should be the subject of our next tutorial. I don't know. If you're interested, let me know. I'm always like, I'm always assuming that whatever I've done in the past has been like seen by everyone, and like the old videos that I did like 5 years ago have been seen by everyone, but it's not. I should know it's not the case. So yeah, maybe I could do a new video on this subject. It's never a bad idea to explain something twice. It can never go wrong. So basically the fat over lean is the idea that the paint, when it dries, it's a chemical reaction, and when it dries, it basically forms like the molecules of oil will form a stronger paint film and become solid. But while doing that, they sort of expand or contract depending, and the fact that this happens more or less depending on how much oil there is in the paint. What you want is, you don't want something that will basically, when you have several layers, you have one chain of molecules here and another chains on top. When this chain moves, you don't want the other one to be solid because it's going to crack basically. So if this one is still like fluid, it's still moving, see when it's moving like this, and this one is completely solid, it's stuck. When you move it, when you apply a force from below, it's going to crack. Because so if this one is lean, it will dry first and become solid first, and if this one is fat in the bottom, it will make the top one crack if it dries, if it doesn't dry first. So what you want is, you want the bottom to dry first, so have the faster reaction time. And to do that, you need to have less oil, because less oil means that the reaction is going to happen faster, because less molecules have to react. So this is called lean. It means there's less oil. I'm probably explaining very poorly right now because I'm painting at the same time, and you know, this is unscripted. Usually this is the type of things that I need to script if I want to explain properly, but yeah, what you want is to have the slower drying paint on top, so that the other ones have the time to dry before that, and they don't disturb it when it's finally time for them to dry. So every time you start a new painting, wet on dry, what you want is to increase the amount of oil so that the reaction will take slightly longer every time. Just fat over lean. Just remembering fat over lean is enough. You don't need to know all the specifics, but yeah. I really enjoy how easy it looks when you paint. It truly inspires me. Thank you. It's because I'm not showing and I'm not streaming when I'm struggling alone. Like it says in the song, all by myself, you know, all by myself. Yeah. But I do, it's not easy. And yeah, I do struggle a lot. And for this one, it's like, oh, it's the magic is happening, but the most of the face was done before the stream. So this one was actually pretty easy during this stream, but trust me, getting to this point was not easy because I had to restart. The first attempt at this portrait, this face basically, was a failure, so I had to scratch it, restart. So definitely not easy. How long have you been on this painting? I don't know, I started it in July, I think. It's getting way too long for my taste. I want to go faster. I really hoped this would be a painting that I could do in a month and a half, but yeah, too bad. So annoyed by this pimple. F me. Do you think AI is a threat to us painters? I've talked about this subject. I actually made a video about this, and the response, like, short answer is no. Not to classical traditional artists, like painters, like me, no. Digital artists, illustrators, people who make, you know, kind of Dungeons and Dragons characters, yeah, definitely. Anime and stuff, video game assets, this is all going to be taken over, definitely. But this is, I don't count this as, you know, the definition of artist that I generally use, so this is a different type of art that I don't, it's not that I don't count it as art, but when I'm responding to this question, basically I'm not counting it. So for traditional artists who make, like, you know, the useless art that's just there to be admired by basically nobody, because nobody goes to exhibitions anymore, or so to normal people, no, it's not, it's going to be business as usual, basically. But AI will definitely be revolutionary, don't get me wrong. It will be as revolutionary as photography back in the days. It's just going to be a new technology leap that will have the same type of importance and influence as photography back in the days. So yeah. good to know. Basically, everything that's unique and original and truly innovative and truly just made for the sake of like the beauty of art. Everything that you make for the beauty of just the beauty of art, like the machine is not going to replace, because, well, nobody's going to be interested in that. Everything that you make for profit, oh yeah, oh yeah, trust me, the AI is going to take over. Like, if there is money to make with Dungeons and Dragons characters, or like advertising pictures, I don't know, or making deep fakes, stuff like this, yeah, this is going to be a huge amount of AI produced images, which I'm not calling AI art, mind you. But if you live a quiet artist life, if you're not pretending to be anything special other than, you know, a lone artist making it for the love of it, your life is not going to change that much. But like, society is going to change a lot. There's going to be tons of new issues with AI that we're going to have to solve, but just like, it's still, again, it's very similar to photography. Like, photography posed a lot of new problems that needed to be addressed. Like, before photography, you didn't need to get the consent of people to get their image, but now you need to, like, you can't take a photo of everything or anything. You can't take a photo of something private, and it's just, there are rules. Just because you have the tools in your possession doesn't mean that you can do anything with it. And so far, AI is still the Wild West, so there's no rules. But soon, very soon, the rules, well, hopefully very soon, the rules will be implemented, and we'll see a little bit more clearly how it can be helpful, and can definitely be helpful even for artists. What is going on? Am I lagging? Hello? Can you hear me? What is going on? What is this discussion in chat? Sometimes I feel that you guys are in a different dimension. Am I missing something? Like, you guys really have like your little world. Okay, I'm good. Okay. I don't know. I was just talking, and then I came back and read chat, and I couldn't understand one line. Loud and clear. Okay. It's just, I just felt that I was like missing something. There was like some discussions in chat that I couldn't interpret. But I'm not even gonna ask. I guess it's the safer option. A rocker might be lagging. It wouldn't be a surprise. Basically, I think he's at work, watching from work. So that might be a small problem. Do you ever sell prints of your work? This was in the plans, Jacques, but I just I was checking a printer company, basically printing company, and I wanted to see and review different companies to see how well the prices, the quality and stuff. And I kind of stopped, like a lot of things, I stopped in the middle of it. I didn't follow through, and it's still in the books, but I didn't follow through. So at the moment, there's no prints. At the moment, only originals. What if I... No, I don't think. Thinking about adding an ear, but no, it's all covered. No. Not possible. Sometimes you have an idea that's just a bad idea. And this hairstyle is basically my reference to Waterhouse. So I want to keep this type of, I don't know how it's called, braided. No, not braided, but this type of hairstyle. I don't know how it's called in English. You tell me. And this is basically my reference to Waterhouse. I didn't want to copy the face, this. If you know anything about John William Waterhouse, you know how he had like this very stereotypical women faces. Very, very beautiful, very pre-Raphaelite, and also very kind of same-ish in a way. Forgive my horrible memory. Did Waterhouse utilize watercolor? Maybe here and there. He was not mostly known for that. Do you mean the wispy updo? Is this how it's called? Well, I mean this type of hairstyle with, well, like basically the hair is attached in the back. Let's put a, see, there's a, updo equals bun. Oh yeah, a bun. Well, that's what I wanted, a bun. A loose bun, French twist. Oh man, I don't know about that. Like, I can't validate or invalidate all these pieces of information. Is like too much for me. I don't know. I didn't check. I know how it's called in French, and it's about it. I know how to ask Google Image to find a reference from this type of thing, and that's all I do. Oh, we have to do a poll, by the way. We have to do a poll. But is the poll... So, we have to decide... Okay, no, first you have to give me suggestions. I can't do it right now. So, what artists are we painting from or after in the next episode on Friday, in the next stream? What artist would you like me to make a master copy of or a study from? What should be the artist from next week, from next Friday's Learning from the Master? Okay, I'm gonna type this. And I'm going to take a couple of suggestions, and then we are going to have a vote, basically. So what artist should be in Friday's Learning from the Masters? I'm thinking, try thinking someone old, like old, because what I would like is to have, you know, a sort of a chronological order, and start way in the back and sort of slowly move forward. It's not mandatory, but this would make sense, right? So basically start with, you know, the very primitive Renaissance, and just slowly move up in time, and every Friday have a new artist until we get there, but not mandatory. I mean, if you want to start with, I don't know, whomever. Okay, so we have Beksinski, Sorola or Wyatt, Beksinski, Waterhouse, Bingo, Leonardo, Velasquez, Draper, Bosch, Raphael, Rembrandt. Okay, okay. So Rubens, Bouguereau, cave painting. Okay, so let's have a poll. So who did you say? Okay, let's vote. I can't I add one more? Okay. Hi, I make that. Okay, so well, I have too many. I have to make a selection of artists from which I have good copies, like that I can make good copies. So Van Gogh was then so many. Well, Waterhouse, why not? Leonardo. This is who do we say? Bingo. For a place. Okay, have you all voted? Because it's going to end soon. Okay, apparently Leonardo won. Okay, so Leonardo goes to semi-final. Then who do we have still in this voting thing? Well, let's just have a final between well, okay, let's just start this. Let's just go straight to the final, because it's going to be super annoying. And I like these choices. Okay, that's a big matchup. Now, who wins for next Friday's Learning from the Master? You're gonna make my life super hard, because this is some tough art to copy from. Jesus. Oh my. I'm gonna regret this for sure. Why didn't you suggest like the guy who makes like white monochromes, basically? Because that's so much easier. You guys and your good tastes in artists. Hey, you started. I agree. No, but okay, so Vermeer is winning right now. I already did a Vermeer. Took me 12 hours. During my 12-hour session. It was, I really liked this this session though. It was really a fun project, and it was very fun to make a 12-hour session. I loved it. It's very exhausting. And I ended up with a convincing painting in the end. How about Peter Max? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to make a better selection option for next time, because right now I wasn't prepared. I thought that you could add more options, so right now we are stuck with Leonardo or Vermeer. Let's start with some classical. Both options are very classical, very, you know, they really have their place with their name on it in a Learning from the Master episode, definitely. So yeah, not worried that next time we'll have a better, maybe a more original choice, but this, for the first episode, it's going to be fine. It's going to be full of interesting stuff to learn, and it's gonna make a great episode. Okay, I make that, know some movies about art. Art movies are tough. I don't know any, like, I don't watch movies that much, so I'm not a movie guy, so I can't say. Okay, so I think it's final. This is going to be the final verdict is Vermeer wins. So Vermeer is going to be our next Learning from the Masters protagonist. It's too bad we don't really have a valid, like a true self-portrait of Vermeer. I don't know what he looks like. I don't think, does he have, like, you have to check that. Google that for me. Does he have a self-portrait? Maybe he included his likeness in a painting somewhere. I don't know, but I don't think he did. But yeah, double check that for me. Don't quote me on that. Definitely. I think don't ever quote me because it's safer. I talk a lot of nonsense, so always the safest option. Oh man, I've already been painting for like two hours, and I've only done this tiny bit of hair here. It's pathetic, but I'm talking too much. I'm having too much fun talking with you. It's really like good old times. I love it. They suspect a figure in the Procurus could be a self-portrait, but where is the Procurus? Is this an original or is it the fake copy? Do you know the story of Van Meegeren? Or is it Van Meegeren? I don't know. you always have to double check on what I'm saying. Like there was a famous faker who faked Vermeers back in the days, and he, like, the Vermeers were captured by the Nazis during World War II. So he got in trouble afterwards because they thought that he basically had like sold like national treasures to the Nazis. So he had to reveal that they were fakes. And there was like this story. I really think you really want to watch the Faker Fortune episode on that. By the way, I remember people speaking about like movies about art, like not movies but documentaries, really great documentaries. Check out Perspective on YouTube. They have Faker Fortune, and they have Valdemar Vanucek. I don't know. I'm not gonna guess spelling his name. And they have like great episodes by Valdemar. You know, this guy comments on the history of art. So the channel is Perspective. They sort of have the rights for the BBC episodes of Faker Fortune. They have an episode on Van Meegeren. Exactly. Thank you, Eleanor. Apparently, Vermeer painted over her self-portrait with Maid asleep. Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna check which Vermeer painting I do have, because right now it's not gonna be one of the traditional learning from the masters episodes like back in the days, because I'm gonna make a copy. I'm gonna actually paint or do something like. So I need to have a good reproduction. So I'm gonna try to find a reproduction. I do love when I paint master copies. I love to try to find self-portraits by the masters. It's always very inspiring to paint them, see how they saw themselves, and always very inspiring. I like the Perspective channel. I love this channel. It's great. They put all these documentaries for free on YouTube. It's a great. It's amazing that they're doing this. Especially the Valdemar. Valdemar, if you know anything about this guy, he has such a, such a way of telling stories. I really like his approach. Hey Rocker, the votes are closed, but maybe for next time William Blake is a great choice. I'll think about this for next time. I really like his art, not stylistically, not really stylistically, but the subjects, the way the stories are told, and all the symbolism. Find really inspiring in William Blake. This is really my type of artist, even though I'm not like, I don't consider him like a reference, because he doesn't have like too much of a realistic style for me, maybe, I don't know. But I definitely find interesting and inspiring ideas just looking at his drawings, his paintings. Promised lol. Yeah, well, we'll see. If people vote for it, can't promise anything on the electoral process. This was a very, very secret process and very complex vote between several options that I couldn't include more than 2 options, so this vote was very legit, and Vermeer won this time, and maybe Blake will be the next winner, but you can never know. It's a very, very complex system of votes, super elaborate. If you can sense the irony, of course. Man, I want to retouch the face now, but I'm pretty sure it's going to take more than 1 session for this one. The thing is, I can't promise to come back to this one next week, next Tuesday, because it's probably going to be over. But I don't feel that I have the energy to keep on with this one for today, because, like, you know, making the hair, fixing the hair is something. It's like, okay, it's fine, it's easy. Touching the face is a commitment. So if I commit to painting the face, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna run out of steam before it's the end, and I'm gonna end up with something halfway finished. Or even worse, I'm gonna run the risk of messing it up completely. So I don't think I'm gonna take the risk. I don't have much to do on the face, but almost all the colors have to be rebalanced. It's a little bit more complex than what I'm ready for at the moment. I don't think I have this in me. I'm sorry guys, you're gonna have to continue without me. Leave me behind. Personally, I resonate with Frida Kahlo. I do as well. I do resonate with her a lot. I adore Edward Hopper. I also do. The Met website suggests that In the Procuress is the self-portrait of Vermeer. Okay, thank you. Thank you for quoting your source, Shadowstar. That's really cool. You're raising the bar for the quality, the educational value of this chat. That's great. Losing my battery, you can call it a day. Oh, so that's how it works, Felicia. We basically have to keep track of your charge level, and I stream only when you're above 20%. Is that how it works? I'm gonna probably call it a day, by the way, but it's just because you don't have any battery anymore, so I just have to stop. Man, imagine if she was plugged directly to the outlet. We would have to continue this session forever. It's like, wow. Well, as long as you're paying your bills, of course. Or if there's a blackout somewhere, then we can stop the stream. So I think I'm just for the fun, I'm gonna finish with some nice fuzzy touches, reflections in the hair, and then I'm gonna respect the authority of the battery of Felicia and the stream, because guys, she doesn't have any battery anymore. We're all screwed because we are all connected to her battery. Maybe it's like some type of matrix dystopia where we're all like connected to her system. Yeah, thank you, Black Dahlia. See you next time. Hey, breathe, Phil. Remember to breathe. I'm not leaving. What are you? Where are you going? Everyone going? Really, you're taking it seriously? I'm finishing this. You do you. I'm not leaving. Everyone's leaving right now. I don't know. The joke of the battery actually worked, I guess. Was taken seriously. Yeah, I'm not gonna be here for long, but it's always like that. In my studio, I'm always thinking, okay, I'm done for today, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna finish this and this and that and this and that and this and that. So every time I have to decide that I'm done, it's always 30 minutes ahead of the actual time that I'm supposed to stop, because otherwise you thought I was leaving. I was just trying to accord my stream time to Felicia White, but look, Felicia still has battery, so what am I supposed to do, guys? If she still has battery, I have to stream. Nah, I'm just finishing, but don't you do that? This weird stuff, like, okay, I'm done for today, and then you are almost like cleaning all your stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, finally find something that you can do before you go. And you know, sometimes that's the trap. It's a trap. It's like you actually do something that's more harm than good while you were supposed to stop. And generally not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. And I said I was not going to touch the face, and I'm still, see, I'm touching the face right now of this. Oh my god. Yeah, I just wanted to finish with the highlights in the hair. And this is what I'm gonna do. Just finish with the halo. She plugged in. Oh man, I'm gonna need a lot of coffee. Felicia plugged in. So we are up for a long session. Thank you, I make that. Well, this is a beautiful part of the painting, but the rest of the painting is looking pretty awful at the moment. It's like, you know, it's the ugly phase. And there's always this phase where you know it's not going to stay like this, but it takes a while to get to a more evolved point or stage, and it can stay ugly for quite some time. Okay. Okay. And this. Just reshaping the bun. And yep. Seriously, what's the highlights on the girl face? White and cobalt teal. It's just like a bright, you know, when you have a bright backlight, like a spotlight coming from the back. It's a halo or a rim light, and it looks pretty very bright right now. And I'm gonna just finish with the transition. I have to rework this transition area. It's going to be more work than what I can do here. So yep, that's I'm signing off. But thank you. This time it's real. I'm really signing off. So thank you very much for sticking with me until like 2 hours and 30 minutes. Thank you for your patience, really. Yeah, thank you for being here. Don't forget to leave a like if you didn't before you go, because it really helps the stream and all. And yeah, a huge thank you. Again, take care. See you for the next one. And yeah, joy and inspiration to you. Bye.